You seem uncomfortable. Do I make you nervous, Corky?
No.
Thirsty, maybe.
Curious, maybe.
That's funny. I'm feeling a little bit curious myself.
I don't know why they want to persecute me because I don't talk to women. All women do is laugh and sing and say the word podcast. You ask any doctor and he'll tell you that. I don't know what's gotten into these people. Welcome to Pleasers
And Punishers.
Where we talk about movies that people love to watch.
Movies that ruin your today, tomorrow, and yesterday.
And all things kinky and queer.
I'm Caitlyn of the North.
And I'm May Get Bent Schultz.
And today we're discussing, okay, 3 colors is fine, but only 5 fucking sizes? How dare you? And we're talking Ms. 45 from 1981, written by Nicholas St. John and directed by Abel Ferarra, starring Zoë Lund and Bogey the dog.
He's billed second on IMDb.
As he should be.
Exactly.
As he should be.
Yes.
Well, and you may have just heard someone else. So in order to tackle this incredible film, we've brought on a guest. You may know her from the 2024 horror film Bystanders, writer, actor, and filmmaker, Jamie Alvey. Thanks for joining us, Jamie.
Thank you for having me. This is one of my favorite movies ever.
Same.
Obviously, if anybody's seen Bystanders or even knows of it, you should know that I absolutely adore Ms. 45.
And also, if you haven't seen Bystanders, please go watch it. It is probably my favorite rape revenge film of the 21st century so far.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. That's high fucking praise. Seriously.
Well, and the fact that you both wrote it and star in it is pretty fucking incredible.
Yes.
I have a lot of really good inspiration as an actress because, like, when I started, I was always a writer and I was always an actor, and like both of those worlds were pretty separate. And then I got to college, and I was really typecast a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "Oh, you should play somebody very sweet, very innocent and dainty," because they look at my little round face and they're like, "Oh, the little baby-faced idiot." Listen to that hick accent. And they want to cast me as like Marion from The Music Man. They want to cast me as like Dotsy May from The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. And that's not the stuff. That's not the stuff that I'm interested in. And my acting teacher, she pulled me aside and she was like, "They are going to typecast you." She said, "You just have a face. You look very innocent and cherubic." And she said, "They're going to typecast you." And she was like, "Don't let them.
Oh, I love that.
Don't let them," because it pissed her off so badly.
Yeah.
And that was kind of part of the seeds for Claire and the subversion there, with her looking like very innocent, very feminine. But also my senior year was when the Brock Turner case really was in the public consciousness. And so it was kind of a perfect storm, really. A lot of stuff had happened to me personally, and I was like, fuck it, writing a screenplay. I'm finally going to do it. I was like, here it is. It's time. And I did.
And I'm
here we
so
are.
glad you did because,
Yes.
again, I love your film.
Thank you.
It's so
oh my
good.
God.
And we're going to cover it on here eventually. Too.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, the taking the subversion, like, just nails it. You nailed it.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I love playing with, expectations constantly.
It's what makes horror such a rich genre because you get to do things like that.
It does. It absolutely does.
Okay, so before we get into it, I have a slightly cheeky question spurred on by something I saw online recently. Is Ms. 45 an unsploitation film?
Ooh, oh my gosh. I brought this up to my friend Emily the other day because I saw where Criterion had it lumped in with nunsploitation. Because we were looking through there. And I was like, no? Question mark. I was like,
someone dressing as a nun for a Halloween party does not make a film a nunsploitation movie.
no.
Yes, the iconography of a nun's habit is being used, but that's
a lot of Catholicism, however.
Right, but it's like, this is not the type of exploitation movie that is exploring the same things that nunsploitation movies do. Because nunsploitation movies, the whole point is nuns are supposed to be celibate, innocent women who are married to God. And that's not what this movie is in the slightest.
No.
So to anyone out there who thinks this is an unsploitation movie, I am not usually this confrontational, but like, go fuck yourself and don't talk down to people who disagree with you.
There you go.
And a certain person who I am defending in this moment hopefully is listening to this and appreciates it. So, that out of the way, let's get into some role play.
Is that your bathing suit? Is that your overbite?
Now, one of you will be the drowning victim, and the other one gets to be our lifesaver.
I'll be the victim. All your life.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to tell you the story of Ms. 45, and spoilers, obviously. Go watch the movie if you haven't. Big content warning for sexual assault.
Yes.
It's a rape revenge movie.
Oh, actually, before you start, because you don't have this in here, that David Bowie-looking fool in the background when the movie opens, I was like, okay.
And the woman who's buying from the fashion house looks like Shangela when Shangela is out of drag. I almost put that in there. I was like, nah, I need to trim this down a little bit.
That's beautiful.
Just because also Fashion by David Bowie came out in 1980 and this came out in 1981. I was just like, okay.
But it was filmed in 1979.
Right. It's just like, how? How did you
nail? And I guess a bit in 1980. Yeah.
But how did they just
impeccable.
Nailed it? Nailed.
The public consciousness was working overtime there.
Apparently.
Okay. Thana, our silent protagonist, and her garment district coworkers all get hit on unceasingly as they walk down New York streets after leaving work.
Welcome to puberty for me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. As Thana makes her way home, she's sexually assaulted at gunpoint in a back alley by a man in a mask, played by Abel Ferarra, and then arrives at her apartment to find a burglar who also sexually assaults her at gunpoint. But this time she fights back by smashing his head in with a glass apple and an iron, then dumps his body in the tub. She cuts it apart, storing the pieces in black plastic garbage bags, cruising, anyone? That completely fill her fridge. On her way to work, she places one into a paper shopping bag, which she deposits into a trash can on the street. We'll come back to that, don't worry. A sleazebag who hits on anyone who looks even remotely feminine as she passes follows Thana, retrieving another set of shopping bags that she drops. As he approaches, she shoots him right between the eyes, then runs home to vomit. Thana's landlady, Mrs. Nassoni, and her dog Phil butt in to check on her, but she ushers them out quickly.
I feel like Mrs. Nassoni is Carol Kane's ghost from the future coming back.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is like perfect right there.
It's like when Carol Kane is playing one of the ghosts in Scrooged.
Yes. Yeah.
But somehow less articulate.
I think that Carol Kane would have the power to like transport her consciousness to the past.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's that powerful.
Yeah. An unhoused man finds the severed arm in the trash can. Thana's coworker Lori reads a newspaper with a headline about the sleazebag's murder, and Thana's boss Albert condescends to her. She just wishes everyone would leave her alone.
Same.
Thana, Lori, and their other two coworkers dine at a restaurant where two patrons make out in a booth. After the woman leaves, the man comes over to their table to hit on them and is told off by Lori, who then leaves with the rest of the girls. Thana is followed out by the man, a photographer who desperately wants to shoot her, or more likely fuck her. They go back to his studio where she promptly shoots him, but with a gun, not a camera. Thana then gets dolled up and heads to the airport where she deposits another bag of body parts into a locker. Out on the street, a pimp beats his girl and Thana shoots him dead, then heads for Central Park where she takes out a gang of rough-looking dudes without even breaking a sweat. Mistaken for a sex worker, she gets in a town car with a wealthy sheik and his chauffeur, taking the offered money and killing them both, but first shooting the sheik in the dick, which, beautiful.
You know that is the good stuff right there.
Yeah.
If you've seen Bystanders, you know.
Yep.
You know.
Particularly because, like, this guy almost scares me more than anyone else because he is in a position of power.
Oh, yeah. And
wealth.
has just all that money. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, you hear on a news broadcast on the radio later that he had like $15 million with him, and they're confused about why it wasn't taken by whoever killed him. And it's like, well, they don't know that Thana's motivation is not financial.
Mm-hmm.
At home, Thana turns one of the second rapist's hands into sausage and feeds it to Phil the dog. Also, poor Phil, the only truly innocent man in the film.
He is. He really is.
Oh, Phil.
She then drops another body bag into the open trunk of a man from Georgia and goes to work where she is once again reprimanded by Albert, who then asks her to be his date to the Halloween party. Gross.
Hate this guy.
Oh, God. Yeah, he's like if Tim Gunn was a hideous straight man.
It is troll person.
Yeah.
Was the casting director from Neon Demon.
Oh, my God. Yes.
The other girls watch a woman in the building across the street fucking her boss on his desk. She's riding him like a whale. What the fuck does that mean? What? Like, what? What? How do you ride someone like a whale? And I've never seen the movie Whale Rider, so I don't know.
I was gonna be like, this is like when you started having whales in film, like
Right.
Yeah.
This is like what, 15 years before Free Willy? No, 12 years. Free Willy's 1993.
All I can imagine is your legs are just spread so far apart. You're just kind of like,
Oh my gosh.
I guess rocking. That doesn't sound like fun, though.
No. I mean, when you see it, it does look kind of fun because she's like using his tie as a handle, and she's definitely
Amazoning
in
the
charge.
shit out of him.
Yeah. Albert gives Thana an extremely suggestive look, which she returns in kind. And at this point, we're like, oh, we know what she's doing. That night in Chinatown, she fails to kill a young man, so she goes to a bar and picks up New York's most hung up on his ex man. They sit on a bench outside where he talks about strangling his ex's cat, and Thana tries to shoot him, but the gun doesn't go off. So he takes it from her and shoots himself. Good riddance.
This guy.
Fucking guy.
Just like, oh my God. Like, yeah, let's kill my ex's cat. That's really going to help things.
Right?
If you look at the quotes section on IMDb, one of the quotes is his entire like 2-part monologue from inside the bar and then outside. And I don't think I really realized how much he says. It's pretty incredible. Yeah. Yeah. The dude is so obsessed with his ex who left him for another woman.
I was going to say, and welcome to like my Saturday night where people will not stop talking to me.
See, and this is why I don't go to bars.
No reason.
No.
I try to have a face. Apparently, I don't have that face.
See, I'm the kind of person that if I go out, there's just something about me that it's like people want to talk to me. And then,
yes.
Yeah, sometimes it's pleasant, and it's like one time I had a teen girl who was in a TJ Maxx stop me, and she's like, basically my mom made me go, and my brother is going to college, and I have to pick this up for his dorm room, and it's a comforter. And she said, "Does this look too feminine?" And it was the sweetest thing. And I'm like, yes, I welcome these interactions. Because
was
I'm
it
like,
a cute
yes,
blanket?
It was really cute. It was like a dark sage green, and I was like, yes, this is nice. I was like, this is good. I was like, it's not too feminine.
No,
I was
it's
like,
a good blanket for
I
anyone.
like it. It'll be fine. And she's like, oh, thank God. And I was like, oh, that's precious. I welcome those interactions, but I'm like, if you're like this, man, fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. I had to stop. I used to smoke cigarettes, so if I was at a bar, I'd be outside. And there was a time where people were just coming up and crying. I mean, or like something would happen. I was just having like person after person that I was interacting with just crying on me. And I was like, what? Is there a sign? Do I have a sign on my back? Like, what is going on?
That is enough to make you stop smoking. Like that is the ultimate. Like, that's gonna kill it. That's gonna kill any bad habit you have right there. It's like, no, I can't be doing this anymore.
Stop crying on me.
Speaking of bad habits, the ever nosy Mrs. Nissoni and Phil enter Thana's apartment, making a small mess, which of course Thana immediately clocks when she comes home from work. She decides to take Phil for a walk where she tries to get him run over by a bunch of cars, and then to the water where she prepares to shoot him.
Sorry.
This scene is so funny because she's just walking in the middle of the street with this dog, literally trying to get him run over. And you can tell this was some guerrilla filmmaking. So it's like, I don't know if any of these drivers knew what was going on. So I'm glad that Phil the dog didn't get run over.
And nobody has a permit. Like nothing is. No. It's like, what's a permit?
Yeah.
Like there's
the scene with her and the photographer on the street, Abel Ferarra was on top of a van covered with a tarp operating the camera, and the two people walking kind of arm in arm behind them are the sound people.
Oh, that is so good.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Thana prepares for the company Halloween party by dressing as a nun, kissing every bullet she loads into her gun, and practicing for a night of mayhem. At the party, people dance, talk about fucking virgins in Puerto Rico, and whether or not to get a vasectomy.
You should have gotten that vasectomy, is what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm. That poor woman. Mrs. Nissoni returns to Thana's apartment again, where she discovers the dead man's head in a bag.
Snitches get stitches.
Right. She tells the police that Thana is a witch who killed her dog. Back at the party, Thana and Albert sneak upstairs, where she shoots him. Everything switches to slow motion as she systematically executes as many of the male partygoers as she can. Lori then stabs Thana from behind with a knife, ending her killing spree and eliciting a scream, as well as her only spoken dialogue in the form of the word sister. The next day, a very much alive Phil returns home, proving that Thana wasn't really a monster, but an avenging angel. And that's Ms. 45.
Oh my God.
Yes.
And that, like, the fact that they use the dog as a moral event horizon and fake you out. I love it. I love that so much.
It's such a great signpost for who she really is as a character, that like no matter what her experiences have done to her, no matter what she is doing to exact this revenge on people, she can't kill an innocent dog. Like,
Dog's just doing
it's just
dog.
not in her nature. Yeah, exactly. Phil didn't mean to be nosy. He's just dog.
He's just a dog. Like,
his job is just dog.
Exactly. And that includes skills of being nosy. Like, they want to know what the heck everybody is doing. Like, my dogs, it's like, I can't go pee alone. Like, they are always doing something.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me, when did you first see the film? And I mean, I think I know part of the answer to this question, but what kind of impact did it have on you, Jamie?
Okay. I was writing Bystanders. So we are like way back, like 2016, 2017.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize you wrote it that long ago.
Yeah, I was in my early 20s. I joke that Bystanders was my 20s. We started filming it when I was 29.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a while, and I was like, I am going to consume more exploitation horror. I'm going to delve deep into rape revenge, kind of learn from it, figure out what I'm doing, get my bearings a little bit more. And Shudder had Ms. 45. And I was like, okay, the absolute, like the imagery, I was like, this looks perfect for me. So I watch it and I am absolutely blown away by it. And the way that it handles the actual assault scenes in it, because there is such that stark focus on her face and her fear and what she's going through, and it doesn't center the act itself so much. It really takes her pain and makes it front and center and forces you to sit with it. And obviously there is a very similar scene in Bystanders where it's the aftermath of the assault, where I wanted to focus on Abby basically having this moment where she is dealing with being drugged. She's hearing what these boys are saying in the next room, and she's coming to the realization of what's happened to her. And
It's such a heartbreaking moment, too. That was probably the first time I cried watching the movie.
Yeah. It's one of those parts that, like, we closed the set completely to shoot that. The only ones of us that were in there were Brandy and, of course, sound, and Chance, the cinematographer, Mary Beth, and me. We were the only ones that were in there. And we were like, no, this is just Brandy. We're not going to put her in any kind of weird position. And it really worked. She killed it. And we were like, I want to get that confusion across with the filter that we used and the distortion. And we bring that back later when the tables are turned on Cody. We mirror that. But I was really taken by the idea of focusing just on the woman and how it's affecting her, because a lot of times, and I do agree with people that are very unnerved by, like, it feels like it's more so they're focusing on the act and less about the fear and the trauma and what this does to people. And I actually felt like Ms. 45 was a film that was extremely ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah. Yes. The fact that this was made in the late 70s, early 80s, came out in 81, and still feels so progressive and actively feminist. And good on Abel Ferarra, because I watched some of the special features on the Blu-ray that my roommate Maeve has, and he talks about that the core of the feminism in the film all came from Zoe.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that more later.
Heck yeah.
But I love that this was so influential to you, and I love that you took cues from it and used them to still craft your own thing.
Yes, and that's one of my key, like, advice for people writing is, like, take what works for you as a viewer or a reader if you're writing prose or something, and make that your own. Because it's easily doable.
Yeah, I do that with my music. I'll hear things in other songs and I'll be like, oh, that's a really interesting idea. I'm going to interpolate that in my own style and use it as like a jumping off point.
It's like what Octavia Butler said, there's nothing new under the sun, but there are new suns. So,
oh, I love that.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Well, Caitlyn, what about you?
Oh, it was actually kind of very similar, except that I did not make a movie. Didn't start a movie for me, but yeah, I think it showed up on Shudder one day, and I went, "This looks extremely interesting." Clicked on it, and again, it not even just the subject matter, but even the way it's shot feels modern.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Wait, what year did this come out? Are you serious?" Because it looks like a more modern film than 1981.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it straddles that line of modern sensibility with 70s aesthetic.
Hmm?
And I think that's what makes it so timeless and still so prescient, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did not watch this when it became available on Shudder because at the time I was still not really ready to dive into the rape revenge genre. It took me a really long time. It took me until post transition to get to a place where I felt comfortable watching rape revenge films. Anytime I saw a sexual assault in a film, it would just destroy me. I saw David Fincher's Girl with the Dragon Tattoo in the theater.
God, yeah.
And I literally had to leave my seat and go to the bathroom twice to vomit. That's how deeply affecting it was and still can be for me. I mean, the first time I watched this, it was extremely nauseating during the sexual assault scenes. The first time I watched Bystanders, I got very queasy. And I feel like that's a good thing. If you can watch a rape scene without feeling uncomfortable, there is something wrong with you.
Yes.
I want to check yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like it
Like-
betrays a lack of empathy.
It really does. And I don't think that a lot of people, I think that we watch stuff, a lot of people, not us, obviously.
No.
A lot of people watch stuff and they expect to just be 100% entertained and 100% comfortable and not have anything challenged about them or the movie they're watching.
Mm-hmm.
And they get really weird when you talk about something that is inherently an uncomfortable topic like that.
Yeah.
And I really believe that actual intentional discomfort and playing with that can help us grow and help us heal and help us confront the stuff that really, really hurts us in real life. And that has been at the core of Bystanders for me too, because it literally took me until we were in casting gray, and I was talking with my therapist.
Wait, you mean Ethan Hawke?
Ethan Hawke, yeah.
Did you write that joke into the script after you cast him? That was already in there?
No, wait.
Okay.
This is so funny because I sent my parents a picture of the monitor when we were filming some of his coverage, and I was like, "Yes, Gray exists." And my dad calls me the next morning, and he goes, "Why does this man look like young Ethan Hawke?" And I'm
really
like,
does.
Because I said that too. I was like, "Why is he?" When I was taking that, I was like, "Why does he look like Ethan Hawke?" And then my dad calls me completely unprompted, does not know, and goes, why? He's basically like, "Why Ethan Hawke?" and I come downstairs and I go, "Garrett, you're not going to believe what just happened." And then I tell everybody about that. And then somehow Bob, who plays Cody, catches wind of it. And he ad-libbed that in there.
Oh my
that's
God.
so good.
That makes me so happy.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
The first scene that y'all have together in Bystanders, I literally went, "Oh, these are two of the most attractive people I've seen in an independent film.
Oh, thank you.
This will be enjoyable."
A lot. Hey, one of my best friends, she the second she saw some of the stills from it, she was like, "Jamie, this is bisexual propaganda."
Yes.
It really is.
She was like, "This is bisexual propaganda." And then when she finally got to watch it, she was like, "Yep, bisexual propaganda, and she made a Letterboxd account to specifically leave the review of bisexual propaganda, and it's actually
I remember seeing that.
Yes, she actually used it's used in one of the videos for when it was coming out. Dredd used that, and she was kicking her feet because she was like, "Heck yeah, I'm right." Though she was like, "I'm right," and she was like, "I know I'm biased. I'm fine with that."
It's the Mummy of the rape revenge subgenre.
Yes,
I'm biased.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I'm biased.
She's like, I'm biased. Specific. Yes. And she's like, she kills me because she'll make her bi jokes all the time, but she stands by bystanders is bisexual propaganda.
It should be bystanders.
Yes, we've said that. We've said that. We were like, Excellent. It should be bystanders because we were like, there's something for everybody.
Okay, so I just realized we went way off track, and that's okay because that was delightful. Mm-hmm. So the first time I saw this was last year, 2024, July 31st at the Music Box. There is a series that they do there sometimes called Highs and Lows. And I've never really quite understood it, except for when they paired Morvern Callar with Britney Spears' Crossroads. And I'm like, okay, I know which one is the high and which one's the low. But in this instance, they paired Ms. 45 with Coffee, Jack Hill's exploitation film starring Pam Grier, which was a fantastic double feature. And they showed Ms. 45 first, and I was just transfixed the entire movie. When it ended, during the break between the two movies, I turned to Erica, my best friend, and I said, I need to get a tattoo of her. Yes. And a week later, I watched the movie again with my friend and tattoo artist, Vanessa. And then the next day, she tattooed Thana on me in her nun habit, black and white, except for her red lips.
Perfect.
Oh, I love that so much.
So this obviously had a huge impact on me.
Yes.
Watching it today for this was my 4th or 5th viewing. I said to y'all off mic before, I've got the score on vinyl, I've got a big box VHS, and I've got my new 4K on pre-order. I am so excited for an even better transfer of it than the one Draft House Films did back in 2014, I think. It's my number one movie on Letterboxd. It's in first position on my top 4, and I don't think it's going anywhere. So very, very impactful, very wonderful. And now I have a silly question. If you were going to dress up for a Halloween party and take revenge on your boss, what would your costume be?
Oh.
Because I feel like I'd go classic and just like dress as either a witch or death.
Good.
I don't need to be subtle about it.
Ooh.
No. Subtlety is dead. Subtlety's for cowards.
Oh, I love that.
I think an angel, but with black wings would be. I would like to do.
So like a literal avenging angel.
Yeah, that would be pretty poetic, if not on the nose.
It'd be fun if you glued a bunch of googly eyes to yourself to be a biblically accurate avenging angel.
Ooh. Yes.
At Metatron?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you, Jamie?
Okay, the first thing that came to mind is a Jennifer Check from Jennifer's Body.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right, no notes.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta be the white prom dress, with the black accents.
Yes.
Would you already be covered in blood?
Oh yes.
Okay,
oh yes.
good.
We can't draw more attention to me, so we already have to have the blood on there.
Exactly.
So nobody's gonna question it.
There you go.
I went as a vengeful prom queen for Halloween 2021, and it's still my favorite costume I've ever done.
I love it.
Okay, well, now that we've gotten all that out of the way, Let's discuss the film's historical context in our next section, Faith and Chance.
I can't exist by myself because I'm afraid of myself, because I'm the maker of my own evil. Goodness is only some kind of reflection upon evil. That's all it is.
Okay, Caitlyn, this is your baby. Take it away.
All right, so we're talking 1981. That was already said, started recording 1979, 1980. We're really at a time of what was called, or now is called, paracinema, which I loved, and I'd never heard this before. Today.
Neither have I.
I love that.
Yep, paracinema. So cinema outside the mainstream. It's characterized by exploitation, quote, transgressive media culture, and a rejection of academic and commercial pressures. I went, yes. Put all of that into my veins. I love it.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're really coming at this time because of the collapse of the production codes, like the Hays Code and everything that was keeping movies not as fun as they could be. Just say that.
It was keeping the sleaze out of films.
Yes. And that just started to collapse in the 60s. And from that point on until really the conservatism of the 80s with Reagan. I just said that.
That is the right response to that with Reagan.
My mom is still a nurse, but my mom was a nurse, so we grew up in a very pro-union and anti-Reagan household.
Yeah.
So thanks, Mom. So that was kind of the heyday of this exploitation. You have grindhouse theaters popping up. You have more directors and writers working outside of the studio system, which was not something that you could do before. Like, you had to be a part of the studio system. So this is really just an explosion of independent cinema. I'm going to just say, this has nothing to do really with anything, but the price of that lunch in 1981, when they're like, it's $4 with tip, that's $14.26 a piece.
In today money?
In today money.
That's still a pretty good fucking deal.
That's a better deal than I have paid in, I don't even know. I got a...
Yeah, I mean, if you go to Noodles and Company right now and get a bowl of pasta with chicken on it, that's going to be like $17.
I don't even want to say this one. I got a coffee and a scone today for like the same amount. So it was not a sandwich. Yeah. I did not get a sandwich.
Thanks, inflation.
Mm-hmm. And wages not keeping up, which might have something to do with what I'm going to talk about later as well. New York in the 70s was very different than it is today. You had outright prostitution. There were porn theaters. There were sex clubs. I mean, they make reference to Plato's Retreat at one point when the fashion photographer and said lady were sucking face in that restaurant. Aggressively.
What is Plato's Retreat?
So Plato's Retreat was a swingers club in New York in the 1970s. So when she brings that up, that is a very pointed reference, obviously. We're not here to watch you do this. If we were, we would be at Plato's Retreat.
Got it.
I mean, that's a fair assessment, honestly.
Let's talk about Abel Ferarra.
Abel Ferarra. So, from New York. Surprise. Though actually that might be surprising because a lot of people who aren't from New York will make movies about New York. But I find a lot of people who are from New York also make movies
about New York.
Abel Ferarra, Irish and Italian, American, was born in the Bronx and for some reason but then was brought up in Peekskill, New York. And the only reason I really I was going to bring this up originally was because I had just been in Peekskill, New York. I was just in the cop bar at Peekskill, New York, like last week, watching a football game. And I know none of this computes to anyone who knows me.
Yeah, you texted me when you were there. I was like, what? What? First of all, why are you watching football? Second of all, why are you doing it at a cop bar?
What is Peekskill, New York?
I was about to say that in itself just sounds like a hate crime. I was like, that in itself.
I turned to my partner. I was just like, or I was just texting at that point, going, what did you do? And why? Because we had no idea.
Brian's the reason
this was
you went
Brian's,
there.
yes.
Okay.
They were, Dad wanted to watch the football. We were in New York.
Got it.
My partner's from New Jersey. It's a whole thing, but yeah. So I was just in Peekskill, New York. Seems it's a bit decaying. I apologize to the people from Peekskill. However, in 1949, there were like race riots in Peekskill, New York. And it was because Paul Robeson, who, if you don't know about Paul Robeson, he's an incredible actor, singer. He was a black man who was anti-colonial. He was very, very public and vocal about anti-racism, about segregation, about socialism, communism. He refused to play along with what the American government wanted, and he made his feelings very much known. And so when he went to go play in Peekskill, New York, okay, this is 1949, so we're right on the cusp of like hard McCarthyism. We're already post-World War, post-World War II, so anti-communism efforts are already ramping up because Russia is no longer an ally from the war. And so Paul Robeson made a mini comments, say, like what we're doing is just comments against, isms that it'd be very nice to not have anymore. And when he went to perform, riots, like people were throwing things, rocks and glasses at people who were going to the concert. There's a lot of racial epithets against Black people and Jewish people specifically. They were hanging and burning effigies.
Like you do, I guess.
And again, this is in New York. This is...
Yeah, we're not talking about the Deep South during Jim Crow.
No.
Nope.
Because everybody forgets that, too, because there's the myth of like the quote unquote still that persists with the blue states, and I'm like, honey, this stuff has been happening everywhere for as long as you can remember and conceive.
Rural Illinois is very red, and like you can drive 2 hours out of the city and find Confederate flags. It's terrifying.
Oh yeah, that sounds correct to me. It's like, yeah, exactly. And then like you'll be in a place that's ostensibly you're like, oh, this is a red state, and then you accidentally meet somebody that's like the most radical leftist you can imagine.
Yep.
Like it's like the area, it does not matter at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The myth that the northern states or western states were not also enforcing a type of segregation through redlining and sundown towns and other economic terrorism is so persistent. And one of those things like, no, this is still happening. It happens in every city, whether large or small. It's like I have a friend who clearly remembers, she's like, I remember in Seattle, like Ku Klux Klan members on horses down the street. So,
oh my God.
It happens everywhere. It happens fucking everywhere.
It does.
And with these race riots, ostensibly, that happened in 1949. So Ferarra wasn't born until 1951. But because of the area he was raised in, I think this is something that would have been very much on his mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's a very interesting character. Like one of his mentors, I just squeaked so hard. I loved it. One of his mentors Rosa von Praunheim. And this is something I find just very, very interesting because he was a pioneer of like queer cinema, a gay activist, and, quote, a key co-founder of the modern lesbian and gay movement in West Germany and Switzerland. And this is, one of her biggest mentors. I only got about 5 minutes into this short documentary. It's on YouTube. It's called It Is Not the Homosexual Who Is Perverse, but the Society in Which He Lives.
That goes so hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. From 1971. And even just the most cursory of glances, one of the biggest things that struck me, and I think it also feeds into Ms. 45, is, quote, directly from the movie's subtitles, condemned as sick and inferior by the bourgeoisie, they try to be, gay people, try to be even more like them, normies, straight people, even more like them in order to wear away their feeling of guilt with an excessive amount of middle-class virtues. They're politically passive and conservative in gratitude for not being beaten to death, which just...
Oh, my God.
This is 3 minutes into this documentary, and I was like, holy shit.
God. Well, I just found some new sample material for my next album.
Yep. And these are ashamed of their nature for centuries. Christian upbringing has taught them that they're nothing but pigs. Hence, they escape this dreadful reality into a romance full of wicked kitsch and ideals.
That's like so beautiful and so tragic at the same time. It's like how we talked about on our Sinners episode, the blues coming from such a dark, horrible place, but being this thing of absolute beauty and unification for an entire culture. Sorry, trying not to get too emotional now.
It is.
Oh no, this stuff is emotional, and like I don't think we would be human if we weren't moved by it, because it's so, I think, life affirming to see people be able to make something so powerful out of great hardship and use that as a way to work through that trauma.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's why rape revenge films can be so cathartic, not just for the people viewing them, but for the people making them.
Yeah, and that's why I get really weird about people who they police the kind of artistic expression from people that have had these these lived experiences, or and I'm like, may not work for you, and it may not work for me even, but I'm like, who the fuck am I to tell somebody this is exactly how you should deal with what happened to you?
Right. It's policing someone's creativity is completely. It's an abhorrent act unless they are making something in a way that is directly harming people.
Exactly.
Then I feel like it's okay to say something.
It is. That's how I view it, because I'm like, you know what, this, when it's like, okay, this was just not for me, right? Or, this person is actively being salacious and harmful,
right?
Yes.
Like, I'm never gonna watch Irreversible. And I know people find value in that film. I know that I'm not going to. And I'm not going to put myself through that experience.
I'll get into experience, though, later that May will have to put herself through.
Okay, so tell us about Zoë Lund.
I will tell you about Zoë Lund. What an interesting person. Truly. When they started filming this, she was 17 years old and had just started using heroin.
Oh, in the interview, Abel said that she didn't start using heroin until after they finished the film. So that's interesting.
Read, I think, from her the website that her husband kind of like lovingly put together. I'm trying to remember exactly where I read this because I was on a train watching the movie and then looking up things. You're all welcome. And because I was trying to figure out exactly like when did this start, and it sounds like, well, at least she started dabbling. You know, dabbling in heroin like one does at 17, like right before the movie started.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she passed away at the age of 37. That's a 20-year career. She was always very much that heroin addicts don't have a death wish. I am doing this therapeutically. Her husband at the time contends that she did not die because of her heroin addiction, but more because she had run off with a boyfriend to Paris who was a cocaine dealer, has started shooting cocaine instead of heroin.
Oof. Yeah. Two very different things.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're mixing them, that is how many creatives have died. So don't do that, please.
Yeah. One at a time.
One at a time. Don't be the end of Boogie Nights, is what I always want to say. That is not a cute look. You look rotted. But Zoë Lund is one of those things in one respect because she was also a Marxist. She was an anarchist. She was very much on the outskirts of society in many ways. There are tales of her before being part of this movie going and reading like Sacco and Vanzetti and in like a square in France. Like anarchism. She was very pro-worker, pro-rights for people, and just happened to really, really like heroin. And again, I like it in an ideal of, oh, look at, like, this is very much against society, like drug usage. However, in reality, it's not always as fun. I just want to let everyone know. It's very cute a lot of times, again, romantically, but as I just said, in theory, kind of like vigilantism, if it's not done by the very specific correct person, you're bad at it.
Yep.
Don't do it.
Absolutely.
That was one of the things I actually really loved about your movie, Jamie, was you're like, don't do this. Like,
don't do this.
We're specific people.
Yeah, this is not for you, baby. This is not for you, baby girl. Like we know what we are. We've done this. Like we want to keep you as safe from yourself even as we possibly can, because we can't go back and undo what's been done, but we can preserve your future and just keep you from going down that same road as we have. And it's hard to explain that to people because that part has been like controversial with some people, and mostly, I'll just say it, like it seems like cis men are the ones that have take the most umbrage with that part.
What a surprise, she said sarcastically.
I am shocked and appalled.
You don't say.
I am shocked and appalled, and I've had people say that they're like, I wanted her to do it, but I know why. I know why that they stopped her. And they're like, it's like, and I'm like, yes, you're supposed to be a little conflicted about it because you want, it's like you want to see it. You want to see her do that, but you know that there is a very real repercussion for this. And that's the thing. Claire and Gray had the time to sit down and plan this out and choose this for themselves.
Right.
She's acting in a way that they want to protect her. They want to protect her from herself. And the thing is, I can't really say that that's right or wrong, but I know that in a position like that, you're going to want to protect somebody. You're going to want to keep them from making a rash decision and going down a road that they may not be ready for at all. And that's Abby. That's Abby for me. And that's like the crux of Claire's character too, is the fact that she is very self-possessed. She knows who she is. She knows what she's about. And she didn't come by that decision very lightly. And I love that it does conflict people. But when you start saying, oh, they're taking away her autonomy, I'm like, listen, buddy. There's a difference between, I'm like, you can tell that you have never had your autonomy come into question.
There's a big difference between
ding,
removing
ding.
someone's autonomy and trying to guide them in a way so that they do not experience things the way that you have had to do so.
Exactly. Because that's the thing. It's like, that is guidance. And she literally looks at her and says, you are not becoming me.
Yeah.
And like she literally says, it's not going to make it go away because the trauma does not. It's like, oh, it's almost like the revenge does not absolve the trauma. It does solve a problem because these people are removed from society. But like the trauma portion of everything is not going to be absolved by this.
Right.
Like the problem will stop. The trauma is going to be there at the end of the day.
Yeah. The only thing you can do with trauma, the way I see it, you have three options. You ignore it, you are consumed by it, or you learn to process it and live with it so that you can turn it into something that enriches your life despite it coming from such a horrible place. And I think that's why a lot of creative people have trauma in their past. Because, like, what else are you going to do? How else are you going to process something like this?
You've got to channel that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's my therapist really, because she has talked about it. Because if I'm like more anxious or just not emotionally regulating like I usually do, she'll go, Jamie, are you writing? Like, are you journaling even? Are you working on something creatively outside of like your day job and education? Like, are you feeding that part of yourself? Because she's like, that is so integral to your healing. Yeah. And she is so super supportive of me and everything that I like. You could not ask for a better therapist because she supports that because it's not a self-destructive tendency. And a lot of people, like, we can even bring that back to Zoë Lund, like, the heroin that's a self-destructive tendency. And obviously it became unchecked to the point that she eventually died.
Right. Yeah. And there's a special feature on the Blu-ray where it's her husband, who's still alive, talking about her and talking about how for her heroin really was this like romantic thing where she would not go on vision quests. He doesn't call it that, but essentially she would go into like a dream state and come out of it and then just write. Because she wrote so much that never actually got made into films.
Or finished, I will also say.
Or finished. And so she was using it as sort of a creative push. And I find that very interesting.
It really is. And I think that speaks to a lot of creative people do turn to like these really self-destructive venues, and a lot of them are intertwined in their creativity as well. And it's very interesting because it's like that can be the thing that's saving you or harming you. You kind of wonder what her life would have looked like had she been able to deal with her creativity and get that push from somewhere else. And because it seems that like she was just just an expansive person when it comes to her intelligence, like already at like 17 years old. And like, it's just kind of one of those people that, you know, like you are so brilliant and you are so talented and you essentially just burn yourself out at some point at way too young, because I have no doubt in my mind had she lived, she would have made more stuff and done just so much more with her life, because like you're already bringing so much to a project that young. Like what would she have looked like in like her 50s even.
Right.
Yep. And such a just interesting and complicated, so very obviously complicated person. And her views on Ms. 45 to me were so fascinating because she said in an interview from the Exploitation Retrospective number 37 by Josh Long, an interview with Zoë Lund, because they asked her about the pro-woman and feminism piece of this movie. And she goes, as to the film being pro-woman, I go beyond that, saying that the film is as much pro-woman as it is garment worker. Whatever. Is also the end of the quote. However,
I love that.
And same, it's so fascinating.
Like, she's rattling off, like, that's not just feminism 101, baby. That is
This is deep.
Some deep, like, intersectional, like, looking at, like, class and sex and, oh, that's good.
And race.
That's
and,
good.
yeah, the history of garment working in the United States. I'm going to give just a very quick timeline of this because it is very, very important. A lot of the garment industry is based on slavery. My name is Caitlyn of the North. I'm here to bum you out. Why do you have to make everything about race, Caitlyn? Because it is.
It is.
Because it is. There were a lot of factories that were started because Southern plantations were basically renting out factories or towns and being like, we need you to make clothes for slaves because we don't want them making their own clothes anymore. It's taking too much time. And with cotton as king, slavery, again, was the basis for our industrial revolution here in the United States. As we move forward, during Reconstruction, I'm not even going to get into that right now because it makes me so mad. I'm going to bring us a little bit closer to the present time. International Ladies Garment Workers Union. So now we're in the 1900s. There were a lot of issues between particularly Jewish people, Italians, and Polish people because they were coming from actually a very like anarchist, we are against the system. Definitely Jewish people and Polish people against Russia. There was a lot of anarchy. There were bombings, and I'm not going to get into the history of Russia right now in the 1800s. I promise you, May.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to just move on from that, but there were a lot of socialist anarchists. Just in any workers' union, as you're talking in the history of the United States, again, keep those things in mind, as well as there was a lot of racism and misogyny within those unions, just kind of depending on where we were and what unions they were. One of the big things that I do believe impacted this movie was the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. This happened in 1911, again in New York. It was 123 women and girls and 23 men, most of them were immigrants, were killed because, quote, many of these workers could not escape because the doors on their floors had been locked to prevent them from stealing or taking unauthorized breaks.
That's called slavery, folks.
Yep.
With garment workers particularly, so underpaid and undervalued. And because it is mostly seen as women's work, women are the ones who make the clothing, it is, again, very undervalued. It's interesting to me because the Equal Employment Opportunity Act and the Equal Pay Act in particular in 1963. So we're not talking historically that much removed from at all. And the Equal Pay Act was actually also known as the Garment Workers Act. Women being paid the same amount as men was almost solely like one of the big push for that were the garment workers unions, and still not paid the same in the whole time.
No.
However, that act was just a huge push. And I do find the influences of capitalism and rolling that into feminism at the same time extremely interesting in this movie.
Proper intersectional feminism has to be from an anti-capitalist standpoint, because
100%.
capitalism inherently exploits the labor of women in our society. And I think a lot of people don't get that.
And as you said, like, it's quote unquote women's work. It is devalued. Almost anything that deals with like the fiber arts is completely devalued. And you will see on the fucking internet, especially with people that like craft, like will sit and knit a sweater, and somebody is expecting fast fashion prices, and they're like, well, it doesn't cost that much for the materials. And I'm like, do you know how much fucking work goes into that?
So much work.
Yeah, it does now. It is so much work, because I'm like, you have to pay yourself. Like, what are you expecting?
You're not you're not making a living wage if you're in the fiber arts individually. That is just not happening.
I've had people try to offer to pay me $25 for editing a podcast episode, and I'm like, it takes me 3 hours to edit 1 hour of raw audio. So if you're sending me a 2-hour episode, it's going to take me between 4.5 and 6 hours to edit, and you want to pay me $25 for that? I don't think so.
Like, sure.
Thank you. And then when you actually tell them the price of something, they deride you, just like this movie at the time. I like it when I do these kind of things. But it was so derided. A lot of people were like, oh, Lund is great. Zoe's great, but everything else, the acting isn't on point.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know. I love going back and looking at freaking reviews and stuff and seeing how revisionist like the edgelords are now, because like they act like The Thing and Black Christmas 74 were not basically panned and derided upon release. And this does not shock me at all. Like, stuff that feels like it's way ahead of its time is usually stuff that it's getting shit on at like an unconscionable rate. And like even in like recent memory, like Jennifer's Body, like I lived to watch that movie in the theater at like 15, getting ready to turn 16. And I lived to see the turnaround for that one.
Yeah.
And people, and that's what I think is so fascinating, because I'm like, that history of something becoming, like, being created, released, and like basically people are like, no, I don't get it. It sucks. The acting sucks.
Trashed. It was trashed when it came out.
Just like they were missing the point.
Exactly. And like, I think that is one of the most affirming things to see as a creative. So I think making that, creating a mythology, like that this was always like some huge hit is insane to me, because I'm like, that you're missing the point, because I'm like, that hardship and that struggle creatively it's affirming, and it's nice to see stuff that gets shoved to the side be completely reevaluated later on. And I specifically, that's what I love about exploitation film, is a lot of it does have deeper undertones that you don't really expect. And you wouldn't be getting it if, again, you didn't have the fall of like those moral codes when it comes to film, like this being like the major like pushback against that kind of content and morality policing.
Yeah.
I don't know why people were shocked that it just went to a completely like extreme place after that. I was like, it was going to snap into which I think that personally, historically, like looking at the patterns, we are like way overdue for like an exploitation film revival. And I think that this one is specifically going to be led by societal minorities, particularly because we're more than ready for that to take hold.
Yeah, I think there's a whole group of especially trans women who are making films now that are dipping their toes into exploitation. I think Vera Drew with The People's Joker is a really good example of that.
Incredible.
I mean, what's more exploitative than taking essentially one of the biggest properties that has ever existed?
And not just that, but one that cis white straight men
Just
lionize.
Yep.
Oh my God, yes.
It's fucking brilliant, and I praise her so much for that. I need to rewatch that. I haven't watched it since I saw it in the theater.
It is on our list.
That's one that I have not gotten around to yet, but I'm like, I'm going to make the time.
Well, hey, maybe we'll have you on when we cover it.
Oh, hell yeah. And I love Alice Mayo McKay because like she just feels like a breath of fresh air because like oh my God, like every time I watch something of hers, I get really emotional because I really wish that Wes Craven had lived to see her. There's just something about the way she goes about filmmaking that I was like, you know what, this feels so much like that DIY, like old school horror experience, and I don't think people are really connecting that when they watch her stuff, but I'm like, it's there. It's there.
It's there. It's connected to this movie. It's we have Revenge.
Yes.
That I feel is in very much debt to this movie.
That's what I said, that you don't have Revenge if Ms. 45 was never made, because
absolutely
the assault scene in Revenge feels so much like the one in Ms. 45.
I almost brought that up earlier when we were talking about it.
Great minds, great minds. I would even throw in MFA.
Oh, yes.
I still have not watched
It's
that.
also on our list.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes.
MFA definitely, because I feel like that creates like almost a perfect little triumvirate of like films that feel very in conversation with one another. And again, that's where I say that it's going to be led by societal minorities, that we're pushing into that area right now. Like we're seeing it in real time, because we have to have that pushback. We have to be a little bit sensationalist. We have to get people's attention to talk about these issues.
Yep.
The Nightingale is something that I feel is indebted to this movie in terms of rape revenge, but doing it in a very grounded way.
That's one that I have actually not seen, but I know that it's going to tear me to shreds, because
that's why I haven't watched it.
I have such a connection to the Babadook, and it ruined me. Like, it is one of those movies that devastates me. And I know, like, when I saw that she had made a rape revenge film, this is going to rip my throat out.
Yeah. At one point, I was considering rewatching The Babadook, and then now that I know that I had an abusive mother, I'm not going to be able to watch it again.
Oh, yeah.
Watching Bring Her Back was really rough for me, because Sally Hawkins in that movie looks exactly like my mother.
Jesus.
Yes. And some of the things that she says in that movie are things that my mother has said.
Oh no.
I got so upset watching that movie because the gaslighting.
The gaslighting.
I literally
well.
I literally lost my voice during that movie and was unable to speak for about another hour or two after it had finished.
That is totally understandable, because it wasn't my mother, but I've had experiences where people were either in positions of authority over me or I trusted them and they acted similarly. And like, it just made me like, I just was viscerally upset with that because it was so raw and it was so real. And like seeing that happen to a teenage kid is just really difficult.
Yep.
So difficult.
You also have Mute Witness here.
I
which
do
is a
have
movie.
Mute Witness.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the first Terror Tuesday movie I saw this year back in January, and it is incredible.
One of the things that I really enjoy about this movie is, Ms. 45 and Mute Witness, is how the protagonist's disability is not an issue, really.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I find it very interesting that Thana does not speak ASL. She just writes stuff down to communicate with people. It's unclear how long she has not spoken. It's unclear whether it is a choice, if it is a physical thing, or if it is trauma-based. And it doesn't really matter. Yeah. And I really kind of love that.
I just always want to remind people, yes, The Nightingale, especially the first 30 minutes, extremely rough to get through. However, when I finished it, I cried probably for the last 20 to 30 minutes because it's so affirming and beautiful. So you do get out of the horrific wilderness eventually, but it's kind of the same thing. That movie starts out with a rape and then another rape and then like another.
Oh, God.
It is because you're dealing with a penal colony,
right?
In
Australia, and it's
isn't the character in that Claire?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
and like I know she's played by an Irish actress.
Yep.
So like that just adds layers upon layers because that's just the disenfranchisement of the Irish people, the penal colonies, colonialism, because again, everything comes back to race because you have the Aboriginal population there and the layers there are just so ridiculously heavy.
It's phenomenal, and I am actually very excited to cover it with you, May, because it is, I'm telling you, like you can.
I know.
Yeah.
I know I can do it. I wish we lived in the same city so that we could watch it together and you could hold
sometimes
me.
Sometimes you just need somebody to hold your hand while you're watching something. Like you get so just keyed up and like it's like I need another person because my poor friend Emily, like she's probably like, I wish this bitch had a boyfriend that I could dump off on her sometimes because I'm sure she's so tired of me having to hold her hand sometimes. Well, she does the same to me, but she's probably like this because poor Emily is one of those people that like if she cries, it's very rare. She doesn't really cry, but she gets emotional. I'm the one that I shed enough tears for both of us. I get outwardly emotional. I'm sure she's like, I wish that like she had, and I'm like, no, I would be sitting in between both of y'all, holding both of your hands at that point. Yeah. But she's the one that is over there holding my hand, and if it's not her, it's my mom. Like watching when we're watching something because I always laugh about this because I went to the theater with my mom to watch Hereditary.
Oh, excellent.
Yep. That's another one that played real different for me after I found out about my mom.
Oh, God, yeah. When you start recontextualizing a lot of the stuff that's happened to you, stuff will hit you in a different way.
Yes.
Like specifically working through all that. And it is really, really something because like I've had that stuff hit me very differently after unpacking tons of stuff. And it's hard. I want to go back to the talking about the disability, it just being there. It's just a part of the character. I think that is so important, and that's why I think that critical reevaluation is something that is so, so important when it comes to these films because people, they're like, oh, well, it's trash, and they want to just write it off.
Exploitation,
And
a schlock.
it's an exploitation film, and then like you actually have one of the best depictions of mutism in film. And I talked a bit about Emily. When she was a child, she developed selective mutism.
Oh.
So she has a very, very special connection to Ms. 45 and Mute Witness. And I was the one that showed her Ms. 45 because I was like, I think you might need this, Emily. I think little Emily needs that. And it was really...
I'm going to start crying.
Yeah, it was really, really special because she's like... really has dug into the idea of mutism in film as a way to like work through her past there. And The Shape of Water is another one that is really important to her because of how mutism is portrayed within it. And like when we watched Mute Witness, she was just absolutely over the moon with that because she's like, you don't see this. You don't see people
just living
with these with these disabilities because like people try so hard to make it like some set piece. I feel like some kind of, I don't know. I think there are filmmakers out there that try so hard to get like just, it almost feels like brownie points, and they try so hard to speak to experiences that are so outside of their wheelhouse, and like they don't quite have the proper empathy to discuss it. And it doesn't feel that way.
No.
It doesn't feel that way when you watch something like Ms. 45. And like I would much rather have the sleazy exploitation film with some honest representation than something that is 100% perfectly curated and socially acceptable filmmaking.
Right.
It becomes like so infantilizing.
Yes,
at that point.
because
and that's what Grimaldi is doing to Thana in this movie. And so to like,
yes,
and just watching him do that, like that, think that she is less than because
she doesn't speak.
Oh yeah.
But she
And
has
You
a
have
lot
to
to
try
say.
harder than everyone else.
Oh, good Lord.
And the thing is, the way they sexualize disability, and that's touched upon in there, is that they love. Oh my God, the way men will sexualize disability and infantilize you at the same time, and like being an autistic woman, that happens a lot, and they will sexualize your every action, and it is so uncomfortable. And to actually see that intersection of disability and gender in something like that, it's kind of almost unheard of. Like, what else is doing that other than like there's a moment in Hush now that I think about it.
He says, I bet if I hit the right spot, I can make you scream.
Yes. Ooh. And then you have fucking John Gallagher Jr. like the delivery there is so sinister.
His character in that movie is like sleazier Giovanni Ribisi, and I don't know how he pulls that off.
Exactly. And then like at that point in like 2016, 10 Cloverfield Lane came out, and then weeks later that came out, and I'm living like emotional whiplash. We all are, and I'm like, oh dear God. But like I think that like often, and The Shape of Water also brings that up too. Michael Shannon's character, like May, you've got to watch that now. Michael Shannon's character
I'm going to.
sexualizes her mutism too. Like he loves the idea of a completely silent woman, and it's so fucking creepy.
Of course.
And because that's the thing. But if we didn't have movies like Ms. 45 that were bringing this stuff up so we could also build on it in other places, it makes you wonder what the landscape would look like. Because starting off in a portion of film that is like, again, like derided and underground, is, I think, a good place to start because, again, it's not going to be as micromanaged in a way. Like, you can talk about that stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap up this section and do my usual thing. This has an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. Pretty good. It has an IMDb score of 6.8 out of 10. Okay. And it's got a Letterboxd score of 3.8 out of 5 or 7.6 out of 10, which is better, but still needs to be higher. And I understand why it's not. It's an exploitation film. It's a rape revenge film. This is not going to work for a lot of people. And that's okay. But let's talk a little bit more about the movie itself in our next category, Enough is a Myth.
No. I've done enough.
Enough is a myth.
So, my original first question here, we already answered because listeners, we're going long here, and honestly,
oh heck yeah,
I'm leaving all this discussion in. Other than Caitlyn's bathroom break, I'm going to take that out. But I'm leaving all of this discussion in because this really is an important movie to all three of us, and I think we're having a really important discussion. So, the first question was, what makes this stand out and feel so special in the rape revenge subgenre? We've covered that. So let's go to my second question, and that also touches on something we were just talking about in terms of Thana being a non-speaking character. So Thana's only line of spoken dialogue is at the very end of the movie when she whispers the word sister as she's dying at Laurie's hands. What do you feel is the significance of both that occurrence as well as that particular word?
Like, the first thing that comes to mind when actually thinking about this after watching Cat People for the first time, thinking about that too, like that idea of like that universe. Yes, that universality. Like, we should, like, there's almost a sense of sadness and betrayal there because, like, there should be that unity, and there it is. Like, it's one of those moments where it's like it's very complicated, and like there's several different ways that you could take this. And I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't know if any of them would be even wrong, because like I think we all bring our own history interpretation to a scene like that, because I've seen several people talk about the scene in Cat People and it's interpreted like 20 different ways. And I'm like, okay, this is all completely valid and it's all coming from a very personal standpoint. But also, like, the idea that women should stick together. There should be that kind of camaraderie there. There's almost that shock. You could read it as like a little bit of relief as well. And because I think it's interesting that the only one that can stop her is a woman.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that she's holding a knife at her groin.
Yeah.
Almost like it's... I mean, obviously, it is a phallic object, and you know, there's a lot written about slasher movies. And is it Carol Clover?
Yeah, Carol J. Clover. Men, women, and chainsaws.
Right. So you have that aspect of it, and it's very fascinating because she is the only woman in the film who does violence other than Thana, and she's only doing it to stop Thana from perpetrating violence against other people.
Yep.
And I find that whole thing so powerful. What do you think, Caitlyn?
Because Laurie seemed to be the biggest ally as well. And that is why it was so hard to watch her literally stab Thana in the back. It is because Laurie was right there. Fuck off, get out of here during the restaurant scene, you know, get bent, get out of our fucking faces, like everything you want to hear. So you would think Lori would be, but fuck yes, let's do this.
Right.
And that is Lori, her fellow worker, her fellow woman, who literally stabs her in the back while she is trying to release them from this patriarchal, particularly with fashion and commodification of the female form, women. And so it is just so heartbreaking that it's Lori.
Yeah.
It
well,
is.
And the fact that the photographer earlier in the movie refers to Lori as Thana's sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just assuming that. And I kind of like that because they do look a little bit like they could be sisters. Yeah, that moment feels both cathartic and like a betrayal. It's a very fascinating thing, and it's a really powerful way to close out the climax of the film. Okay, so my last thing here. This is from an essay called Enormous Changes at the Last Minute Toward a Unified Theory of Zoë Lund by Peter Goldberg that I found on the Mubi website. A careful look at Lund's work, both the masterworks and the scraps, reveals her profound meditation on the political meaning of violence and self-transformation, a constant assault on a brutal and exploitative society through art. Now, that's very verbose, and I do think it's making an interesting point. How influential do you think Zoë herself was on this film, despite not writing or directing it herself?
Like, this is one of those, like, impossible questions because she is so tied into that. And everybody that worked on it really give her a lot of credit for what she brought to the table there.
Yeah, like she didn't make the movie, but she made the movie. And like I said earlier, Abel Ferarra credits her with the feminist core of this film.
And I forgot what I was going to say, so go on. There's going to be one every recording, but
that happens.
Hey.
All right, so let's decide how we're gonna categorize the movie in our next section. Let's play a game.
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
Before we do that, I just want to mention Alexandra Heller-Nicholas, who is a horror critic and author, wrote a book called Ms. 45 about the entwining histories and contexts that led to Ms. 45's creation and helped establish its enduring legacy, particularly in terms of feminist cult fandom, and the film's status as one of the most important, influential, and powerful rape revenge films ever made. I have not read this book yet, but Alexandra is a wonderful human being, and I need to pick this up and read it because, like I said earlier, this is my favorite movie.
She is like the queen of like contextualizing rape revenge films and like purging them from the margins and giving them the critical re-exploration that they deserve. And she, like, if you go through like her letterboxed, that is like a treasure trove because she
it's
actually
incredible.
Oh yeah, it is a treasure trove, and she has basically is like, I write about this in X text that she links you to it, and like going through that, it has been like a post bystanders like almost purge for me because it's like now I've made one. I want to learn even more. I want to go deeper on like a theoretical and academic level and also a creative level and like keep excavating this genre.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so is this a pleaser or a punisher?
Like we're just like
we're all just like
I'm like why not both?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
not both?
I think it's a pleaser. I feel like this is true for a lot of the films that we end up covering. This is a pleaser for the right people. This is a pleaser for those of us who have unfortunately experienced sexual assault, who have felt like our voices have been taken away, that our autonomy has been taken away. And we receive catharsis through it, despite it having a tragic end for Thana, because she still gets to exact revenge on so many people. And I don't know if y'all have ever noticed this, but one of the party goers is Abel Ferarra in a different mask.
Abel Ferarra said, he's like, I did not just direct this. I am going to be in this 12 different times, and you're going to spot me.
Yeah. But I do kind of love that, because you're like, okay, is that a different character, or is that the same character? Is that the first rapist who attacked her in the alley? And you don't know. And
he said he was going to come back.
You don't see him. Yeah. And you don't see him get shot at the party. So he might still be out there. And I always find it fascinating that she takes revenge on so many men.
I love that revenge.
God damn it. Now I can't edit that out.
Revenge!
But she takes revenge on so many men who are not that man. And it's just, I don't know, it's such a beautiful, tragic story. So it's a Punisher in that, it's a rape revenge movie. You have to watch this poor woman get sexually assaulted twice in a row. And you get to experience so much cool stuff after that. And hopefully you walk out of the movie feeling relieved.
And like, there's the idea of like, I just think it's interesting because she becomes like, she's so softly feminine at the beginning of the film. Like, she's still very feminine, and like there's the idea of like she doesn't really shy away from her femininity. She kind of uses it as armor.
Yep.
When the makeup all comes on,
oh my god, I love it. Because like that strategic choice to like almost double down on womanhood.
I feel like in westernized films, I've been thinking actually a lot about this because we did House, the Japanese 1977 version. We recorded that last week. And I was really thinking about how, like, in Japanese culture, feminine heroes maintain their femininity and how fucking cool that is.
Me too. Like, I love stuff like that. I love when you actually see somebody lean into it.
Their power comes from. Yeah. And because
that's why Kill Bill is so fucking great, and I cannot wait to cover it.
I fucking love Kill Bill, obviously.
Well, maybe we'll have you on for volume 2.
Ooh,
because
we're gonna just have to give you a list.
The one that makes me bawl the most because of the motherhood aspects, and like, oh my god. Like, it's so good.
Because typically in Western film, the way to make a woman powerful has been to masculinize that. It is, you're going to be taking up these masculine attributes, and that's going to be what makes you powerful. But like, this movie, kind of part of my final thoughts on it are going to be that, like, when we look at the second rape, particularly in a feminism as against capitalism, feminism as a tool against capitalism. And if Thana is a worker with no voice against the system of boss workers and whatnot, and however she ultimately wields her power in that particular situation in a kind of woman's way. She grabs an apple, which denotes Eve in Catholicism. Absolutely.
Oh, and then
the iron?
finishes the job with the iron.
Iron.
Yep.
Oh my God, yes.
Which,
and
by the way, we need more iron deaths in movies.
Oh my God, I was actually like sourcing stuff for my next short. And I picked up like an old-fashioned iron and was looking at it, and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, this would be so fun to use in something.
Well, especially there's so many ways to use it because it could be hot or not. It could be used as a stabbing device or a blunt instrument.
Like,
it's very versatile.
I wrote a scene in something recently where I was like, thinking like I have a character that needs a makeshift weapon and needs it quick, and they are locked in a bathroom and they're on the phone with somebody, and she tells her, she's like, okay, do you have this? Do you have that? And she's like, no. Do you have a curling iron?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Do you have a curling iron?
Yep.
Because like
you can do damage with one of those.
Yeah, the tools of femininity and the tools that are associated with women are not soft instruments.
No.
Nope.
And then like
And now I'm thinking about it in Hard Eyes when she throws her vibrator at the killer.
I just love that.
Oh my God.
It was excellent.
So funny.
I was also gonna say like how she wraps herself in that crochet blanket, which as a crochet artist. As I'm talking about fiber arts, I'm actually about to do a 3-day market starting tomorrow. I don't know what I was thinking.
That's exciting.
It is very exciting. Yeah, but I'm also like, what did I do to myself? I also just came back from vacation.
What have I done?
Yeah, it's always when you get to the end of a market, you're like, what have I done? Again, that idea, even though that crochet blanket is ugly as sin because of the coloring, what I will say is that, again, it is a fiber art. You are creating fabric. The fact that she wraps herself in that is just pinging to me, like, to even make herself feel better. It is, I'm wrapping myself in this piece of a quote-unquote women's art. To make myself feel better in these moments.
I just love that, too, because my grandma was so invested in like quilting and crochet and embroidery and cross stitch. And I look at how like that's been, I love that this is tying in with stuff that's been heavy on not just my mind, but also my production designer for the short that we're making. Like we have talked about like, because it's a period piece. It's set in the 40s, and we talked about like how devalued women's work is, and like seeding like that in part of the imagery, like sewing and embroidery, and like basically what women still do, and like working that in because of how devalued it is, but it's also that like it's still so ingrained in like that traditional American domesticity. Like you're going to devalue it, and you're also going to make it a symbol of something at the same time. Like what the fuck? Yep. Because we've had those discussions, and like my grandma passed in 2021, so I have been going through like her stuff. And we have so much sewing notions, and we're like basically going to use that as set dressing and using that idea of the women's realm and stuff. So this is like almost the perfect, like everything's just syncing up perfectly right there, because we were like, yes, having that moment because like I love talking about stuff like this. Like, Jesus, this has been perfect. Like, oh my God.
Well, I think that's a good place to move on to our last section and tell you what awaits you next time.
Don't you see? He's got us now. Okay, this is exactly what he wants. We can't go to the police, not now. He's made sure of that. He's just out there and he's watching us and waiting. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
So that brings us to the end of our episode. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey, fellow travelers. If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review wherever you can, because it helps more people find the show and it makes us all tingly inside. And also, if you do, we'll read it on mic, which we did last week, I think. And that, again, that did make us genuinely tingly inside.
Tingly and warm.
You can find us on Instagram at Pleasers and Punishers and on Blue Sky at Pleasers Punishers. You can also email us at pleaserspunisherspodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Everson Poe. You can find my music on Ampwall, Bandcamp, and streaming services as Everson Poe. As of today's recording, I got a glowing review from Andy over at Louder Than War, who...
Oh, hell yeah.
Deeply praised my new album, which comes out September 21st, so it will already be out by the time you're hearing this. And I don't know if Andy is going to listen to this, but if you do, Andy, thank you so much. You made me cry a little bit. I really appreciate it. You can also hear me podcasting on Tender Subject and Slayerfest 98. Caitlyn, where can you be found on the internet?
I can be found at Caitlyn of the North on Blue Sky and Instagram, and at Cat of the North on Letterboxd. Also, I just wanted to give a big shout out to People Under the Scares. They did really give us a lovely call out on their final episode, which you should listen to, especially because my final girl was doing the best. So definitely listen to that. It's a final girl battle.
Oh, their final girl battle
final girl
not
battles.
Their final episode, like the podcast is ending. Okay.
No. It was just their season finale. They're on a break right now. However, on their Patreon, you could still hear them, and I keep popping up on their Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch on their Patreon. Fuck my hell mouth.
That's going to make me laugh every time.
Oh, my God.
Speaking of almost crying, I was like, when I listened to that call out, I was just like,
oh, yeah, you sent that to me, and I was just like,
thank you.
Jamie, where can you be found online?
You can find me at my website, jamiealvey.com, and that is, I have almost everything listed that you could ever want there, like, that you could imagine, but I'm super active on Instagram and Blue Sky, and I'm over there on, it's Jamie Alvey. I try to make it as easy as possible for everybody to find me. You can see updates on my work. You can see silly stuff from behind the scenes about bystanders. There's tons of stuff about us making that and like artifacts from through the years, because apparently it has history now.
That's so amazing.
When it released, I went and found, like, when I first talked about it on Instagram and talked about the first draft of it, and I posted it, and I'm like, there are some times that I still can't believe that this thing exists.
And I'm
like, that
so
it's
glad that it does.
Outside of my freaking mind. Thank you.
And everyone go watch
Tubi,
Bystanders.
everyone. Tubi.
It's on Tubi. It's free.
It is on Tubi, and
watch it.
Watch
and
it.
also, if you haven't watched it, we may have spoiled a bunch of it during this discussion. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
But
Maybe you should. Maybe you should go watch it.
I think
right this second.
I'm going to post something about there being spoilers for it in this episode before we post the episode to try to get more people to watch it.
Oh, yeah, because it's I think that a lot of people, like, one of the greatest compliments I've ever gotten is somebody, like, let me go find her exact, like, YouTube, because she had this fantastic review with and her daughter, who is trans, is a part of it too. So this, like, meant so much to me to actually, like, I cried, like, bawled. It's Jen's Reviews from the Grave on YouTube, and it is like, it's a 31-minute long review, and she goes in and she breaks it down, and it is perhaps one of the most meaningful things that I have ever experienced as a creative. And I cried because, like, they understand it, and, like, Jen said, this is a movie that I can see saving lives. And like that just kind of, you know, like you making stuff, especially stuff like this, you can get so disheartened. But like at the end of the day, it's that just makes everything feel like it's worth it.
That much richer.
Yeah, all the stupid, witty one-liner reviews and stuff. Like it, I feel like people forget that there is an audience out there, and like people want to see your work. Yep. And like that's the thing. It's like I want to see everybody's work too. Like
yes,
go
it took
make
me
something.
a really long time to find the right audience for my music, and since I have about 5 years ago, people really connect with it. People really love it. And, you know, making art is so important. So if you're a creative person out there and you're doubting yourself, I know this sounds like generic advice, but really just make the thing. You will feel so good after you make it.
Make it and they will come. They will come. And don't try to fit a one-size-fits-all kind of thing because there's no joy in it.
Right. Make what you want to make.
Like you can try all day long to please everybody and you're not going to do that. So yeah. You won't. Make it anyway.
Yep.
Make it anyway. And I will be here and I will be here and I will watch it and or listen or do whatever. Like I that's the thing. Like sometimes I look back at stuff and I'm like, people are so creative and people are so talented and like it's just sometimes I was like sometimes I don't. I was like I've had a lot of issues in the past and I'm like it's nice to look back and think I'm so happy to be alive.
Yes.
And alive at the same time as you beautiful people and get to share in this space with you all. Like I was having that moment at Horror Hound Weekend this last like go around, like just seeing these little girls dressed up as Megan and like so excited to see them. And I was just like, you know what? That's why you do it right there.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Because
did you see the picture of the little kid dressed as Billy interacting with Tobin Bell at a convention?
Yes, I have it.
It's
oh my god,
oh my
so
god.
Cute. Like as someone who does not like kids,
same.
It was so
still,
fucking
I have
cute.
those moments. I'm like, oh my god, look at you.
Yeah,
it is because sometimes it's like, you know what? There it is. That's the next generation.
You're
They're going to be
doing it
adults
right.
one day.
You're doing
They're
it
going to be
right.
adults one day.
Well, speaking of kids who actually are awesome, next week's episode is going to be on Tarsem Singh's 2006 epic, The Fall, where we'll be joined by special guest Leslie J. Rising from Fangs for the Memories. And I am so excited because that's another one of my favorite movies of all time. So a good 2 weeks in a row for me.
Hey, look
but
at
until
you.
then...
The way I just said it, look at you. No, that was supposed to be very, look at you. I don't think it came out.
Aw, thanks. Well, until then, do some aftercare, clean your toys, set healthy boundaries, and...
You can choke.
Excellent.